All right, so we're going to jump right into this story that's got, well, I mean, it seems like everyone's kind of buzzing about it. We're talking about Rohit Chopra, head honcho over at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB,
All right.
getting ousted by President Trump. And you might be thinking, like, okay, so another political shakeup, big whoop, right?
Right.
But Chopra, he wasn't just some random appointee, you know what I mean? This
Yeah.
guy was a straight-up bulldog, like fighting like crazy for consumers against, all those big, giant financial companies.
That's right. And he made some serious waves. For example, like Chopra, he really pushed a rule to limit those crazy overdraft fees.
Right.
And that could have saved people, millions of dollars every year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's huge for a lot of people. And he also finalized a rule that basically makes it easier for you to get your hands on your own financial data. So, like, that means you could, shop around, compare different banks, and maybe get yourself a sweeter deal on loans or credit cards. Even stuff like he even took on medical debt that shows up on credit reports.
Ugh, don't even get me started on that. That could be a total nightmare.
Yeah, for real.
So, okay, we're starting to see Chopra, he was like making these big moves, right? But was he like maybe too aggressive? I mean, he was constantly running into pushback, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. He had lawsuits coming at him left and right from these huge institutions.
Yeah.
Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, you name it. They were all arguing that his regulations were like way over the top and would totally like choke lending.
Right.
There's like this huge debate going on about whether his whole approach, whether it was actually the best way to go.
Yeah.
Some critics are saying like, whoa, he went way too far. But then there are others who are like praising him, saying he was the first one to finally hold these big banks accountable.
Yeah, yeah. So with all that in mind, why the sudden, like, boot? Was it just about, easing up on those regulations, or was there maybe something else going on behind the scenes?
Well, I think the timing is really interesting, right?
Right.
Because this all kind of lines up with the Trump administration's like, the whole thing about deregulation, especially in the financial sector.
Yeah.
So it really makes you wonder, is this like a sign that things are going to shift towards a more hands-off approach when it comes to financial regulations? And if so, what does that even mean for, the future of us regular folks and how we're protected?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, come on. We all remember what happened back in 2008, that whole financial crisis. I mean, the CFPB, that was created because of that mess. It was supposed to stop that kind of disaster from ever happening again.
Yeah.
So, if the CFPB gets weakened, who's going to be there to look out for us when these financial institutions start getting all shady and risky?
That's a very valid concern.
Right.
Because with Chopra gone, it's kind of murky.
Yeah.
Like, what direction is the CFPB even going to take?
Exactly.
Will they keep going after those aggressive reforms? Or like, are we going to see them backtrack and get rid of some of the consumer protections that Chopra fought so hard to put in place?
Yeah, I don't know. This whole thing just leaves me with a lot of questions. Like, okay, what now? You know what I mean? Chopra's out of the picture. So is there anyone else who's going to step up and be like the new champion for consumer rights in this crazy financial world? Or is it just going to swing back to favoring the big banks and those huge corporations? What do you think?
It's tough to say for sure, but I think one thing's crystal clear. This is a major turning point. Whatever happens next with the CFPB, that's going to have a huge impact on the entire financial world, like for years to come.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
So, this broadcast, we've tried to give you the key facts, and some different ways of looking at this whole, this complicated situation. But from here on out, it's really up to you. You got to stay informed. You got to stay engaged.
Absolutely.
Because, the future of consumer protection, that might depend on it,
Well said. And that is going to wrap it up for us. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for having me.